Hey guys, it's science time again. Today we're going to go back and review weathering and erosion. So we'll take a look at that in our lesson today. And we're going to take a look at a text here. And I'm going to put it in present mode so I can read it with you. This text will be on your question sheet that you're going to do at the end of the lesson today too, okay? So this text is called Weathering, Erosion, and Deposition. Earth's surface is constantly changing and new land is constantly being formed. Rocks get broken down by weathering, moved through erosion, and deposited or dropped somewhere else through deposition. So you need to know these. These are the keywords that we'll be working with today. When rocks get broken down, that's weathering. When they get moved, that's erosion. And when they get dropped somewhere else, that's deposition. So this is all a review, but you can see, look at this rock. It's been weathered. Maybe some ice got in the crack of the rock there, and that ice, when it freezes, or water, when it freezes, turns to ice and expands and begins to split the rock. Let's read about these three things. Weathering is the process where rock is dissolved, worn away, or broken down into smaller pieces. Weathering can shape rocks into unusual formations. Water, wind, ice, and plant roots are all causes of weathering. For example, rainwater can easily enter cracks in rocks. When it gets cold, the water may freeze and expand the crack. The ice will eventually split the rock. Also, plant roots can grow in rocks and cause them to split. So that's weathering. Remember, weathering is breaking it down or dissolving it, wearing it away. So if it's breaking it in any way, it's weathering. Erosion is the process by which water, ice, wind, or gravity move pieces of rock and soil. The crushed rocks and rubble are called sediments, and when it rains, they're washed away into streams. If it does not rain, strong wind can blow them away. Gravity makes soil and rocks move downhill. Erosion can happen quickly, or it can take thousands of years. For example, the Grand Canyon, located in Arizona, is a very big hole in the ground that's a result of constant erosion by the Colorado River. It took millions of years as its rocks were taken away. When it rained real hard a couple weeks ago, did you notice it was washing things away in the water? That was erosion, wasn't it? It washed a lot of soil into the creeks. There's a creek near my house, and it just turned so muddy because the water, the rain had eroded some of the soil and it was washing it away down in the river, down the creek rather. But when it quits raining and the creek slows down, then it drops it somewhere else, right? Deposition is the dropping of sediment by wind, water, ice, or gravity. After pieces of the earth are moved through erosion, they're deposited somewhere else through deposition. It could be only a few feet away or many miles away. Deposition happens when the water slows down or stops moving. The wind dies down or stops blowing, or when glaciers melt. New landforms can also be created from the deposited material. For example, waves can deposit sediment in areas offshore where they can build up to be sand dunes. Weathering, erosion, and deposition are constantly changing our landscape. Can you imagine how most areas of our Earth will look for years from now? All right, let's look at some different types of weathering and erosion. So there's a limestone shoreline weathering in Guam. So that water, as it comes, the waves, if they've come in, they've worn away, dissolved, they've broken down the bottom pieces of this rock that they crash against. And this looks like it's physical weathering in Ireland. Looks like some water has got down in the crack and then expanded and broke this big rock into pieces. There's a natural arch produced by wind erosion in Jordan. So it's in a sandy place that wind can pick up the sand, and sand can actually, as it blows, cause a lot of friction and begin to break down or weather the rock. So it formed a natural arch, a hole in the side of a hill. Here's a rock formation sculpted by wind erosion in Bolivia. So again, that sand has been blown against the bottom of it here and wore it down. Here's sand blown by wind deposits in the form of sand dunes in Death Valley. So that sand's just been formed and blown into big dunes. And the wind deposits sediments that create a yellowish wall-like structure in Loess in Mississippi, USA. Huh. It's wind deposits. Okay. All right. Well, if you want to, after you do the reading and questions today, you can go back and watch Bill Nye on erosion. This is optional. You don't have to watch Bill Nye, but he has a really good video on erosion and weathering. So you might want to watch it if you just need some more information about it, or if you just want to watch Bill Nye because it's a cool show. Okay. You do have some questions today to answer for me on weathering and erosion. So I put the text on the top of your questions, and then they're just multiple choice questions. For example, this one, though, is choose 4 questions. So you got to choose the 4 main causes of weathering. I think the rest of them are just multiple choice questions, okay? All right, then. Well, I'll let you get to work. Go back and reread the text as you answer the questions, and I think you'll make a good grade on this one. It's not so hard. All right, I'll let you get going. See you tomorrow.